Hello, welcome to our show, Embracing Your Design for Midlife Transformation. The tagline, Come Alive to Impact More Lives. As a tiny habits coach, happy for no reason trainer, and the Gene Keys guide, I invite soulful professionals to have conversations related to their life experiences, businesses, human design charts, and hologenetic profiles based on gene keys and ancient I Ching. Enjoy our show. Hello, I'm so honored and happy to have my dear friend Radavie to come back here as my guest. Radavie, would you like to say hi to our audience?
Well, hello there. I'm so pleased to be here with Sunny.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
So,
Radavie is different kind of a healer. I understand she called herself spirit-based healer and then focus on the childhood trauma removing. I think it's totally resonate with the gene keys. Gene keys, that's the core that very, very special key is called spirit intelligence. We call it SQ. That actually is a 7 years imprinting from the childhood. Then of course, we are all helping people to understand their soul level about who they are and what they are. And I'm looking forward to our conversation today, Radavie. For all my guests, I like to know their story. We share maybe certain point in your life, then you become
absolutely,
who you are today.
absolutely, because just recently, with the book that is going to be published soon, but I'm such a deep person that I look and things come to me, and I thought, I've come a long way home. What does it mean to me? That all my life, I have experienced what I did because of right now here where I am and what my passion is. So coming back to the inner child, I came really to experience the wounding because I experienced that. And only during the time when I was going through my own self-healing, which is what I needed to do, I
Hmm.
got to really understand about the human conditioning. So I got to realize now that I've come full circle, and then, woke up one morning and said, I've come, it has come from it's a long way home. And I thought, what does that mean? It means that everything that I had experienced in my life, that I had been working with the inner child, and was vitally necessary and important for why my soul is here. And I am so grateful for those experiences because when I was growing up, it was no fun, as everybody can understand. And and so it moved from healing the wounded child to my understanding that it wasn't the wounded child I was healing. I was releasing the conditioning from the essence of our soul. I got to expand my knowingness more and said, all of that time, it was the divine spark that I was really uncovering. And I thought, oh my God, that's true. Well, so I can understand now why the messages came and the book is being written.
You kind of share with me, you grow up with a big family and it's like a traditional role. Father need to be like,
Oh, yes.
very solid and mother need to be serving kind of thing. Would you want to share some
Right.
of that grow up
So,
experience?
of course, I grew up in a little mountain village
Hmm.
in Jamaica. And it was a big family, there were 10 of us. And I was a sixth. And the whole thing about it, though, it's that I was different. I knew I was different. And because of my unpleasant relationship with my mother, I closed down and I withdrew. And I became very shy, very insecure, and life didn't feel happy.
Mm.
But here is something that happened or that held me. At 4 years old, I went to Sunday school and I learned about God and Jesus. And let me tell you, that was the golden thread that went through the tapestry of my life.
Mm.
And although I was going through wounding, there was this deep, deep place within me that I know there's a God. And where is God? And they said it's in heaven, and I want to know where God is. So that followed me the whole way. And it was good because it's like dark and light together, moving together, the
Mm-hmm.
light of God and the dark of my wounding. I'm very introspective and I'm very intuitive and empathic.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted human psychology. I wanted to know more about people. I mean, those who come to me, because I was very attracted to those who are carrying the wounds, and the other
Mm-hmm.
ones who came to me. And I really have the ability, and didn't know that then, that as although I was listening intently, I was able to look under the hood at the same time to understand
Yeah.
what it is that underlied their pain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I did that for many, many years, and that's my soul's calling. That's my agreement. And we all
Yeah.
have an agreement.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
have an agreement while we're here, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and it has been a very beautiful, productive journey. And I wish people would know when they're going through difficulties that it's only through the difficulties that the light comes in through that crack that you're going to see and learn and evolve. So there is a very beautiful understanding and experience to go through
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unpleasant or painful
Yeah, yeah.
emotions.
People actually can spot you out, right? They come in and say, "Oh, I need to talk to Radavie because she has solution for me." Because based on your profile, your human design profile is 5-2. 5 in that language we call it the leader or fixer. So automatically, people can sense your the energy, even you're not say I'm here to teach, but people will seek you out and they say, "Oh, Radavie is right there." And did you find out even with like little kids, you go to places or school, did you experience people just come here to ask you questions and get the directions, stuff like that?
Not in school. I was very withdrawn. I
Mm.
mean, everything that I was wrapped inside and just closed down. But as the time goes by,
Yeah.
you know, um, people saw that there was something in me. So
Mm.
I was even on Lunch Club. And I'm no longer on it now. Lunch Club, where they send you people to talk with you. And one one woman, she connected with me, and I was the only one she connected with. And
Huh.
she said, I closed it off and I started coming to see you as she became my client.
Mm.
Yes, and then there was another one who I chatted with, and time goes by. She connected with me, and she said, Radavie, I'd like to have my 20-minute, because I offer 20-minute complimentary to people.
Mhm.
And when we connected, she said, you are one of two people that I mean that I see that I want to reach out to. So
Well, the reason for that because I can see maybe guessing the other line, the 5 and 2. 5 is fixer, but the 2 is the hermit. Like you actually kind of invisible because that make you healthy. You need to be on the background most of the time. You don't feel comfortable to be put on spot right away. But once you own that energy because you have something to serve, you have something to share, and that person really need it and they're asking for it. And that is the perfect match. When that point on, you are just flip it. You all the wisdom just come
Yeah, yeah,
out
yeah.
because
All my wisdom comes.
yeah,
Wow, that is amazing.
a lot of people using human design with kind of labeling or you are this and you are that. But the more I'm study with the whole contents and with the gene keys, the vibration raised up for me. It's not just on the 3D anymore because yeah, we all know our name, our age, our look and all that 3D labeling. But this whole system is energetic being, like how you perceive yourself when you have a thought on your head and chakra and go down to all different energy center. There's just the body mechanics in there. And if we continue to combine the transits and also the gene keys around the solar system, that imprinting from every 6 day they change to different key, then we change our reactions and relationship with the whole environment. You were mentioned about great point. You're very intuitive. Like you are don't have a very solid identity for yourself. So I am this, I'm that, but you almost just melt into other people. So you project their emotion or something to you. So you understand more about particularly their wounds, right? Because that is your contract for. You're coming down here to really help people to discover their wound, but you sense that first. So you
Oh,
become
yeah.
activated. Hmm.
You're amazing. That's exactly it, And my sense is that, as you said, it's no longer just the 3D. We're not talking about the person. You're talking about the essence, and you're talking about a higher sense of frequency, a consciousness.
In the Gene Key language, the shadows,
Yes.
everywhere we need to have, all the whole view, the embracing the darkness and the light, because they are cannot separate, they are together. If we only focus on the lights and then we have those baggage and wounds and not clean up, we cannot really raise up
No,
to.
you can't.
Yeah.
No.
So
You can't
is
take anything home.
exactly. So you're actually lead people through the childhood traumas, and would you like to share maybe how you're going to lead your client go through the journey so they can start to release their trauma?
Yeah, there's no technique that is in a book. I never studied it. This comes from my own sense of spirit, from
Mm.
my soul. And I'll have a simple form that they fill out, but I'm looking at it not from my mind, from from an expansive place. And I can feel if all those three things, it doesn't matter if it started as a little child and it's now an adult. I really came in back into this world with an indigenous nature. It
Hmm.
never left me. And because of that, I think I have a different way in which I do things. And this, it was never a call to go to school to learn about
Yeah,
therapy.
well, we all know modern school didn't teach us to be
No, no,
connected
no,
with.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so it may be from different ages, and
Mm.
I can look at it because I'm looking at it from an expanded place, and I can look
Yeah. Well, that's
and I
how your
can
specialty,
feel.
you are the spirit base because you really just
Yes,
raised to
yes,
connect there on
yeah,
the higher
that's right.
level. Mm.
And I can look and I can see maybe all three things comes from loss. And
Mm.
I don't tell them all three. So I said, okay. And or sometimes I may feel one with a deeper emotion. that means there's an unresolved issue right here. So I'll
Yeah.
pick that one. And you
Yeah.
would be, and my clients would just like a bud that was so tight would just open up. And we would talk because I'm getting that. Nobody ever opened them to that place. They never
Yeah.
had the opportunity. That's what's been, and so they felt safe enough at that point to really openly have conversation. And then there'll be tears, you know. So
Mm.
this is the beginning of it, and we're moving to really going deeply to see how much they've been wounded by that. And then most importantly, we go to I take them to that aspect of themselves that is splintered. We
Mm.
have to find that peace.
You have a way for them to feel at ease, and at least they're allowed, they think themselves differently and want to hear a different voice other than their own judgment in their heads, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That
So
is
so here's
beautiful.
the thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm able to hear the truth. They'll take me. They know I invite them, and they take me
Mm.
where that child, that part of them still is. Before the session ends, I make sure that they can hear that part of them. Some of my clients would just say, oh my God, they're so meaningful to them that this is like their whole life they've waited for. It was easy for me to hear them because it's the innocence within us that has been wounded. And I want your listeners to really hear the
Yeah.
innocence has been wounded, and they're the ones I am working with, and they are the ones who are the divine sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And they are our wisdom keepers. So it's important
Mm-hmm.
that we integrate and connect with them and not, and the days of saying, oh, it's my inner child, the days of that is, as far as I'm concerned, is done. If you keep saying it's your inner child, it's because you haven't cleared up your stuff and you haven't fully integrated with your innocence.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense to you?
Yeah, exactly. When you still have awareness of something is not integrated, that means they are still there. They're just getting closer. You
Oh,
know
it's
they are
my
there. I
inner
mean, the
child.
first step really you need to know they are there.
The 20-minute complimentary that I give them is not just giving them a 20-minute. There's a connection that's happening.
Mm,
There's a connection. And and so they begin to either build up a feeling of trust and safety with me.
yeah.
And they always do. They always do because I come from I said I serve the divine. That's what I always say. So
Yeah.
my head is not in the session. It's only physically present.
We actually didn't know the first 7 years, our experience become our operation system for our whole life, right?
It's a
Um,
program. Yeah.
yeah, it's programming. Then if we are think about everything's fine, try to kind of put it under the carpet or ditch in the basements, we don't care. Eventually it will come out, right? And it's
It,
the
it comes out in our behavior as adults, whether we
mm,
know it or not. It does.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so the other upgrade with that too, Sonny, is that when I became the messenger of the essence, I talk about the child that,
Mhm.
and they wanted me to put it in a book, and the book will be published soon. I got to feel that I'm not leaving my clients to be a better person. I
Mhm.
want to take them more into living as their true self, their
Yeah.
divine self.
Mhm.
And that's where I am now.
Even based on I study, when Buddha say he never saved anybody, is we save ourselves. We become who we are. But someone as a teacher point to the right direction, or maybe lift some heaviness we have. So that I definitely see you are the contract, the messenger come in, just do that. But after they have conversation, they have this connection, they have more of the trust in the whole experience in themselves.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
higher self is just within them. We never lost our higher self. It's just
I know.
we refuse to see it because we try to judge about everything we experience based on the operation system, the
And
the 7 years
and you know,
programming, eh?
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're really afraid to go back into that dark room because the
Yeah.
reason why they became a survivor
Mm-hmm.
is putting on a whole different mask and go out into the world.
But based on all the things you share, I'm so fascinating about your soul connections and that just your special talents. You just can connect that innocent child within and try to lead them out, and they feel safe, they feel loved. And based on your gene keys profile, I can see that things too. So if you okay, I can go ahead to share with your activation
Please
sequence.
do. Yes, love
Okay.
to.
The human design system, we have this body graph with all the skates among our body. So that is our like antenna to receive the energy from our environments. And gene key and the astrology was the 12 house of the different horoscope is more like the alignments with our solar system when they are certain different vibrations. So the gene keys connect with our body and it's the information from the universe. Then so when we are born, that moments we have a certain imprinting in our DNA. So then they give us this blueprint. It doesn't say you have to live through like this exactly. It's more like the roadmap, like you mentioned about contract, right? So we come down with the contract, but it's the time we're born, we kind of secure and sign the contract. And so we will have a certain the experience within our body and with our environment, with the people around us. We need to have certain experience in order to, just like you said, become aware and get your talents out. If we don't have this triggers, usually we don't even know who we are, right? We always need to go through the shadows and get
Of
some
course.
training, then we start to activate it. So the gene key, they have three different sequences. The sequences we're talking about today is only the activation sequence. It's more like you're here, the contract, what you're going to do, and also give us hints about what we really are, our beingness. So the activation sequence is just the doing and being, and they have 4 spheres, and they also has this correlated number from 1 to 64. Then that give us more of the detail of the blueprints. So for you, your life work, that's the first of the doing keys, is 4.5. I mentioned about your 5-2 profile. So when I have the decimal point, that is your profile. So you are 5 on the life word is the 4.5. Then the 4 is number 4. You mentioned about so many times about innocence. That actually number 4 is when it's very pure and you are innocent. You're
Mm,
just understanding everything. And but we need to start
yeah.
with default, right? So your default for 4 is more like intolerance. Like you just sometimes you want something to get away. You don't want to face something. You just feel uncomfortable. But then you finally realize this is just part of you. A consciousness getting higher and your life will become more light because you're not really intolerant. You become understanding. You really bring out your own innocence and others' innocence out. That's your life work. That's you're born here to do, right? then when you finally raise even higher, like light. So the gene key has a 3 level of the consciousness. The lower we call it shadow, the middle we call gifts, and the highest is just you are not separate with the creator,
with the
and
source.
that's the source energy. Yeah. So you're in that moment you have forgiveness. Forgiveness is really the highest you can be, right? So that is your life work. But then you're working through it, you will have a critical point start to waking up. So
I
the
saw
second
it.
point, that spear is called evolution. And so from your life work, and you might do something maybe before you're 30 years old, you're doing something you really don't fit. You really don't feel that let your soul sing. So you're still doing it, but the evolution, you are the number 49. That is very, in a way, is such a transformative key. 49 is to abolish the old and secure the new. So in that evolution, you actually has your own revolution. You just flip it. Everything you do, you flip
I'm
it.
smiling because I can even tell you when all those happen because I'm really relating to everything you say. This is
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. Well, it's just
I,
because we are coming with the Roma, right?
yeah, this is excellent.
Yeah, but because 4 and 49, you're doing through a lot of challenges because that's the doing purpose for us to learn lessons. When we have enough lesson learned, then we need to
Mm.
go through a very special key. That is our childhood trauma key. That is SQ. So when people decided to face, to undiscover or unleash or release or just embrace that childhood trauma, then you have a chance to go to the other side of beingness. So you start to live your truth. So I don't know whether you want to add something before I go into it.
Yes, 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 I do. You said, time when I was intolerant.
Mhm.
Okay, to me, what that meant is that I walked away from my childhood.
Mm.
It was always here, but I didn't connect. I never talked about my childhood. It's like it doesn't relate to me. I'm a little older now, still young, but I'm not that. Then when I was 39 or 40, a mystical thing happened.
Mm.
My 10-year-old stood right in front of me. And I said, I don't relate to you, so I don't know why you're here. 3 weeks, Sonny. And I really got angry at one time and said, you need to go. I don't connect with you. But finally, something in me said, I need to connect with her. And I didn't know how to do it, of course. No, so I went to a woman on that a little outer circle because I heard she did other stuff other than massage and um and she said, this is one of the things I do. I said, I want to connect with my little girl. She said, oh, this is one of the things I do. And I thought,
Mm.
I didn't know people did that. I didn't know people knew how to do that. It's not funny. And and one of the things that was locked away because all of it was locked away came up I thought I have locked this away and you a stranger you want me to tell you the shame. And it was like 20 minutes I was there with it struggling, and there was a part of me that said, you came in here to release something and you need to do it.
Mhm.
And when I told her, I think that's when the emotions started to flow because I actually verbalized it. And I knew I needed to go home and let the emotions come. And that's where my self healing started.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, there was something else you said, and then there was something. That was the first break. And the second one was I'm on a plane. I'm in the air flying. I'm in a plane, and I was awakened. The 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 conditioned self, although I was really moved away from it. I think this identification, whatever it was, just poof, was down the aisle, and I could see it like a split second. I saw that that's what I was living my spirituality from. And I like people listeners to hear this, because we may think that we're spiritual at times, and no judgment, but it's coming from sometimes our mind or what we think is good and what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that was the next part of it that I moved into, continue to move into my own. Now the little child, I never experienced the innocence of the child when I was growing up, and now I do.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the plants and I kiss my plant, and it's just so beautiful. It's like my child.
Once you really reconnect that intolerance part of you, right, then that's make you a whole, because you
That is
separate
so
so long.
that
You
is
can't
so
really get
great,
back.
because
Yeah.
now what I say I do, I'm an inner peace guide. You know, I help you to break the code of human conditioning,
Yeah.
because I'm now in a sense of peace. I couldn't do that before unless I can't help anyone to get somewhere where I haven't been.
Yeah.
So now I say I'm an inner peace guide.
Everybody take that and go through that breakthrough. We call it breakthrough path in the gene key. So from the doing part, breakthrough, face that, then you can finally realign with your true radiance. So
Yeah,
that to
that's a
being
good word.
key is the radiance and purpose. And for you, your radiant is number 8. You can share the aura. You actually
My
can
favorite
flow.
number.
Yeah, so that actually make you very healthy, because that's who you are. You need to be companion with others. And plus with the number 2, you're a hermit type of the companion. So you're not really just forceful. You just be there, your presence with others. Then from that point, you can because you are not shout loud. So when people don't see you, they don't see you, but you don't need to loud. You just be present, right? And people can see you, then you can have your own style. You can just show up with your own style. People recognize you. So you don't need to be somebody you are not. You just be who you are and
So
become very radiant. I start to do this gene key myself. It's about almost 2 years now. But
is that all?
every time
Is
I
that
do
only
it,
2 years?
yeah, okay, I started doing it like 2021, about September. Then I'm actually translated the whole book into Mandarin Chinese now. So I got contract with Gene Key Publishing. So that forced me to really read every sentence and paragraph.
Well, you have your expression of the Jinkies clearly show that you are living from the evolutionary part of the Jinkies, because you yourself, you would not be able to see that higher realm if you had not expanded to it.
I mean,
Really
that might
do.
be my contract. Who knows, right? I
It, you
finally
know
connect
what?
with my contract.
I think could be your soul's agreement.
Yeah.
Because I'm so impressed by the way you express it, simply because of where I am too. I can see exactly where the break came from, and you point out you didn't give me
Mm.
the age, but I know when it happened, and I know when the other thing happened, and here I am now living in inner peace. Oh my God, how better can this get?
Yes, yes. All the years, we finally know how to love ourselves, so the radiance can be really shiny all the time. Then our true purpose will find us. So the last key on the activation sequence is our life purpose. And a lot of people, including me, all the time say, "What's my purpose? I need to do something purposeful." Understand the energetic imprinting and all this connection with the solar system, the purpose is always there. We don't need to seek them. It's just when we clean enough, when we align ourselves energetically, and now we can see clearly what is that purpose, right? And for you, you are number 14. That
Mm,
is indicated you will have a lot of abundance coming in, but you're not seeking them. They just come to you. And
mm,
from the lower one, maybe you are compromised. You say, all right, when we are not really aware, we just say, all right, this is the job, that's the pay, I can compromise, I can lower my lights and dim whatever to fit in with that role. But then you finally start to break out the limitation, right? So you become very competent. When anything you choose to do, you have an ability to do it. Then potentially you will just go into the lights like the bounteousness. That means you don't have boundary. You just like the lights. Whenever you go, you can be companion with people need your help. Then you plug in with your experience, your life purpose and your evolution. You want to abolish the old, dig out the conditioning, and get something so they can start to have their own new life. And eventually you are just going to be, there's nothing to blame. Like you forgive everything. Like you're just part of
yeah.
the perfection. So that is your activation sequence. I'm so honored to have a chance to read yours.
Oh my goodness. And the only reason, I'm excited about because I'm so impressed with your reading, not because you're telling me something that is new to me. I'm living what you told me. And you don't, and we haven't connected in a while. But I see your evolution in the way you have read it. I just wanted to say that people need to come see you to
Yeah.
get their gene keys done. We move along because there's a guidance until we come to an opening of understanding
Mm.
why we took that path. Then there's another mystery to unfold.
Mm.
And with you, it's very beautiful to see, you're doing that, and just wonderful. And
I so appreciate your work and think about how important if everybody just carry on with that experience, but not label as a wounds or trauma. They just love that experience, right? Then we can
we are
totally
not,
live a different life, right?
yes.
Hmm.
And I just want to say to people too, you are not your body. Your body is a sacred temple. And it was created because your soul needed a place to express itself in a physical form. But nobody reminded you that you are this essence of your soul. They really conditioned you into what other people are doing, and that your biological self is what you are, and that's not true. And that's a book I've put out. It's about awakening to inner peace in the midst of chaos. And
Mm.
you can do that. You have the ability to do that. And then more light is coming, more light and more assistance and more hearts are opening. Then when you are ready to do that, there's help everywhere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned so many times about your coming book, how people can connect with you. Then when the book's out, they know where to get a copy. Did you have a
It's going
website
to
or?
it's going to be on Amazon for one, and
Mhm.
I'm going to do lots of other podcasts, and I'm feeling that there's a rebirth. The website, and it's simple, radavie.net.
Mm.
Yeah.
You are pretty active in the linking. I enjoy all your posts,
Oh
know the
yes,
different
I'm on
design.
LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yes, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and 2024 is going to be a whole new life for all of us.
Yeah, well, that is actually your evolution highest expression is rebirth.
I've been saying, this is a rebirth, not anything I've done before. I'm going into a whole new accept. And the book and I will be integrated as one. I can feel it. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, I'm so happy you are still here and we have this conversation. You are available to share, and I couldn't wait to see your book coming out in
Oh,
maybe next
yeah.
month, right? It's pretty
Yeah, very
close.
soon, very soon. And I just wanted to tell your listeners too. So, you see, Sonia and I, we look separate. We're two different physical forms. But consider that you're listening to in a whole different physical form.
Hmm. Yeah.
We have one thing in common that will never, never, ever change. And that is the essence of our soul is the spark. We are sparks from the one flame of God. Just consider we all are family. We are
Yeah.
all one. We are all one. Just consider in this spark of flame, all these sparks, these divine sparks, just God just said, oh, go off and experience life in different ways.
Yeah. Mm,
And then we
yeah.
forget. And then we forget that we're really a part of the same.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that's
it's
how when we start to open our hearts, then we all know we are the one. When we
yeah.
close it, we feel we are broken in pieces, but it's not. It's just our head saying, you're in broken pieces. No, you're not. We
No, no,
need
no, you're
someone
not.
like you, Radavie, to make that, uh, you know, people need to hear this. People need to know they can trust, even they have all the experience they don't even like, but that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not the point. The point is we live through it, then we honor our contract, and the better yet, we start to serve others. It's all have a purpose. It's already bring in, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So my wounding had a grand finale, a grand finale to say,
Yeah.
um,
Mm-hmm.
it has been a long journey home, and I
Yeah.
live in peace, and I have compassion for
Mm.
anyone who doesn't really understand. But if you want to know, there's a lot of people who can help you to know.
Radavie is the person, if you really want to have someone to talk to, it is the nice way she can be just flow with you, right? She's because that is her radiance, that is her the companionship and also the style. Like she just tell you the truth, right? We need to see something we are feel, we don't want to see, but that have a more truth than the other side,
I
right?
know,
Hmm.
exactly.
I want to say thank you again, Radavie, for being who you are and bringing all the lights and all this great truths to us so we can all honor our contract. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And this is my favorite conversations, so I loved where we went and to hear your wisdom